Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. And today we're going to be talking about something that I meant to make a video on a while ago, and that is Blake Griffin. It's obvious at this point that Detroit is trying to rebuild. They got Jeremy Grant, who's playing very, very well for them at the moment. But they are trying to move Blake Griffin, and I'm just going to get it out of the way very early. I don't think any team is going to make a push to trade for Blake Griffin. I don't think it's going to happen at all. And this all kind of stems from even before Detroit traded for him. They traded Tobias Harris and Avery Bradley for Blake Griffin, and at the time, Blake Griffin had just gotten a 5-year extension with the Clippers worth $171 million. And even then, right, like, the guy was extremely injury prone. It was, you could debate that he wasn't worth the money that they offered him. Personally, I don't think he was worth $30 million a year. Clearly, the Clippers did. I can understand why the Clippers offered him a contract like that, because they kind of wanted to keep their franchise relevant. So they gave him the contract extension, they signed him, and then they just, in the offseason, decided, like, right after giving him the contract, that they were just going to rebuild. And then Detroit calls up, offers Avery Bradley and Tobias Harris for Blake Griffin, and at the time that this trade happened, I can remember thinking in my head, why would you do this trade? You know what I'm saying? Why would Detroit trade for a guy who has to fight for possessions down low with Andre Drummond, right? Then he's always injury prone. You're paying a lot of money for a guy who's probably going to sit one season out at the very least of that contract. So, and sure enough, that happened in 2019, 2020. I just thought to myself, like, why? Why do this? And then when looking back on it now, it makes sense for Detroit, mainly because I think they wanted to add some excitement to their franchise, and Blake Griffin did that at the time. And when they traded for him, he actually played all 75 games that year. He got traded in 2017, 2018. I think he played the rest of the season. Yeah, he played the rest of the season out. And then the following season, he played 75 games and started all 75 games. And he didn't play terrible, but he was incredibly average. And what I mean by that is, for today's NBA standards, he was just an incredibly average player. He shot 46% from the field, 36% from threes, 75% from the free throw line, while averaging like 7.5 rebounds a game, 5.5 assists, and 24.5 points per game. So he wasn't a bad player, but he was incredibly middle of the pack. At the time of him getting that contract extension with the Clippers, he was arguably one of the top 5 power forwards in the game. So that also, I understand why they gave him the money. But for $20 million a year, sure, it might have been, that would have been more ideal for Blake Griffin. But when you look at the fact that Detroit owes him upwards of $30 million this year, no team is going to trade for Blake Griffin. I can tell you that now. As somebody, like, if I were the GM of an NBA team, right, I'm not trading for Blake Griffin at all. I'm not even offering a first round pick. I'm not offering anybody. And let me tell you why, okay? First of all is the contract situation, okay? And that's the main problem. The idea that they owe this man, like, I think, what is it, anywhere from $32 to $36 million this season, Nobody's going to trade for him. Not even Oklahoma City, who has enough draft picks to draft people for the next, 7-8 years. I mean, like, they have draft picks up the wazoo. If anybody, I think, could handle Blake Griffin's contract, it would be Oklahoma City. The problem is, Blake Griffin is not playing well enough to justify, okay, the contract that he has. And for the past 2 years, he's been steadily declining. I mean, last year, he only played, 18 games? He started 18 games. He scored 15 points per game, shot 77% from the line. He shot an abysmal, 35% from the field and 24% from three. Granted, he only played 18 games, but still, those are still not good numbers for 18 games. Then, so far this season, he's averaging more minutes per game. So he's getting 31 minutes per game compared to the 28 he got last year. He's played 20 games this year. He started all 20 games this year, but he's shooting 36% from the field, which is really, really bad. And he's shooting 31% from three, which is really, really bad. He's shooting 71% from the free throw line, which is incredibly average. And he's only averaging 12.3 points per game. So when you consider the fact that this man is only averaging 12 points a game, he's shooting incredibly bad, and you owe him $36 million or 30, anywhere up, like north of 30 million this year, and I think his contract, I think he has one more year on his deal. Okay? I'm sorry, man, but I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody trading for Blake Griffin. And if they do trade for Blake Griffin, that GM needs to get fired. Because I know Sacramento's looking to move like Buddy Hield right now, and I think there's another player they were looking to move. I can't think of it at the moment. I think Marvin Bagley or somebody they were. I know there's rumors of at least Buddy Hield getting traded, but Blake Griffin, man, is just he's not box office anymore. So like, and you don't even have that going for you. So. It's not like if it's some small market team like, I don't know, Orlando or somebody, Sacramento, who else, Charlotte. It's not like even Charlotte shouldn't trade for him. Like any small market team can't pick up Blake Griffin and expect box office numbers, because most people know that Blake Griffin is not what he used to be. It would be one thing if he was still like Lob City Blake Griffin, but he's not even that. So now he's a jump shooter, and he couldn't hit water if he was dropped into the fucking ocean. So it's like I just don't see anybody trading for him. And unfortunately, this is one of those situations where I think Detroit's just going to have to ride out this contract. I think you're going to have a Nicholas Batum type situation in Detroit like Charlotte had with Nicholas Batum, where he was on a really bad contract and he wasn't going to agree to take less money for a buyout. And I think Detroit's in that same situation. Blake Griffin is never going to make this type of money again ever in his life. So for him to even agree to a buyout is a terrible idea. Okay? Like, if he's guaranteed this money this year and, you know, they could cut him or waive him or whatever, or, you know, that's the one thing I think they could do, but then they got to pay his money out in full, which might be the best idea. I don't know. But they're not going to agree to a buyout. The only thing I can think of is they release him or cut him, and then they just got to pay him his money, which they're still taking a cap hit, I would say. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the solution is in Detroit for Blake Griffin. I think if you're a Pistons fan, I think you're locked into Blake Griffin for another 2 years. So if he's there, I mean, he's only 31. There is the chance that he turns it around, but I highly doubt it. He is not the player that he used to be, and I just don't see any team in the league that justifies taking on his contract for what he's actually providing. So, I don't know, man. It is what it is. I feel bad in a way because Blake Griffin used to be a very exciting player to watch, and if he was still exciting to watch, I could justify a small market team picking him up in order to maybe sell more tickets or something like that, or, you know, I don't know, maybe get fan interest up. I don't know. It is what it is, but they, like, if you're trading for him, you're not even going to do that. Like, in fact, most people, once they look at his stats, they're like, oh, we traded for Blake Griffin, and they look at his stats, oh, he's shooting 36% from the field and 31% from three, and he's only averaging 12 points a game. There's nothing to get excited about with that. So I don't know, man. It's kind of sad. I just don't think any team is going to trade for him. He's too much of a liability. And, you know, it is what it is. It's sad to see. But injuries really plagued his career, man. I mean, like, the 5-year, $171 million extension that he got shouldn't have even really been a thing in my book. Like, when I heard he got paid that much money based off of how his 2 or 3 previous seasons went before that, I was like, he was injured from 2016, 2017, 2018, he played, I think, all of 2017, 2018. But in 2016, 2017, he got hurt. Then in 2015, 2016, he got hurt. And then they give him, he plays 1 full year in 2017, 2018. They give him the extension, and then they trade him, and he gets injured again in Detroit. I mean, he's a walking injury. So I think there's way too many negatives. I think the negatives outweigh the positives by a drastic amount, and I just don't think it happens. I don't think anybody trades for Blake Griffin, and if Detroit really wants to get rid of him, they're going to have to release him or waive him, because I don't think he's agreeing to a buyout. So tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of here. Peace, guys.